It's 5:30, and I'm going to call to order the Indianapolis Historic Preservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, June 1st, 2022. It's 5:30 p.m. We're in the second floor of the Public Assembly Room in the City County Building. As part of our opening statement, I'd like to introduce the commission members. If you'd raise your hand as you're acknowledged. I'm Kevin Murray, the Vice President and Chair this evening. Susan Williams, Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Annie Lear, Commissioner Bernice Corley, and Commissioner Michael Bivens. We have a quorum tonight with 5 members, so any motion will take all 5 voting in favor or will be defeated. Introduction of staff. Our administrator is Meg Pernsley, legal counsel Chris Steinmetz, Emily Jarzen, our principal architectural reviewer, Shelby Long, our senior architectural reviewer, Dean Kessler, our architectural reviewer, and a special guest tonight as recorder, our famous retiree Lori Finch is back tonight to help us. Thank you, Lori. Our office manager is Natasha Davis. Thank you, staff, for being here and supporting the commission. The commission has copies of Indiana Code 36.711.1, the Marion County zoning ordinances, the Historic Preservation Zoning Ordinance, and all historic area plans for Marion County on file, and which will be incorporated by reference into the record of each case heard by the Commission this evening. This evening's hearing will be governed by the Commission's rules of procedure, which are also incorporated in the record of proceedings. Anyone wanting to get notice that a decision made by this Commission has been appealed may fill out a notification form within 5 days of the decision. The forms are available and may be obtained from the Commission staff. The Commission strongly recommends against submitting new written materials at the hearing. Doing so may result in the application being continued if the Commission or if the staff believes the material substantially alters the request or requires more review than is reasonable at a public hearing. However, if supplemental material related to a case is being submitted this evening, please submit it to IHPC staff when you come up to testify. The chair would also like to remind the public that ex parte contact with the commissioners, which is contact relating to a matter before the commission outside of this public hearing process, is strictly prohibited. The order of sequence for the hearings are the applicant's presentation, including comments of support, is 20 minutes. Objections by remonstrators is 20 minutes. Then we'll go to staff comments, then questions from the commissioners. Applicant's last word or rebuttal is about 10 minutes, and then we will ask for a staff recommendation on the application. The first order of business is the approval of minutes for the May 4th, 2022 meeting. It's the amended version of the minutes, which was distributed today to the commission members. Do I have any comments concerning any additions, deletions, or changes to the amended minutes as tendered? The chair hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Do I have a motion? Moved. Commissioner Lear, do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Williams. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The minutes are adopted. The next order of business is old business. It's not a public hearing. The first matter is 2017 COA 535 LS and 2017 COA 535 LS as amended. The addresses are 527, 531, 535, 539 East North Street, 528, 532, 536, 540, 544, 548 North Park Avenue, and 537 and 541 Leon Street. Hassan Mershot. Would the applicant please come forward? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Michael Mershot with Integra Builders.
And if the recorder will swear in the witness, please.
Okay, Michael, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, please, can you state your name and address?
Michael Mershot, 11505 Grassy Court, Unit 103, Fishers, Indiana 46037.
All right, thank you.
Please proceed, sir. Thank you. You may proceed.
Oh, well, no changes have been made to the initial approval. This is just seeking an additional extension due to the lack of the ability to make any progress on site because of certain previous developers' failures to follow rules, city and state rules. So it's kind of been paperwork for the past 2 years.
Any further comments and support? Anyone in the audience? Any objections, remonstrators? Chair hears none. Staff comments, please.
Yes, just briefly. The request is for a 2-year extension. Staff is recommending approval. Staff was following this because we did have questions about it because, the foundation, process had been started, so there were holes in the ground, but nothing proceeded after that. And staff was following up with building permits, DB&S, and it was confirmed that they had stuff in to get their permits, but it just took a very long time to get the permits. And so staff has confirmed and seen that they did get a drainage permit on 4/20/22 and a structural permit on 4/29/22, so that means they're ready to go. They have assured us that they're ready to go now that they have those permits in hand. And they've also gotten go ahead to get a right-of-way closure, because with the closure of 6570 split, they were having an issue getting closure on North Street because a lot of traffic is being rerouted down that way. So they've had kind of a combination of a perfect storm in terms of getting their building, drainage, and right-of-way permits. But there are no changes to the approved designs that you have approved already, and they should be ready to go with these most recent approvals, but they need that COA extension because it is expired. And I can answer any questions.
Commissioners, questions? Chair hears none. Applicant, you have the last word if you'd like to offer anything else.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Ms. Burnsley, yes, Commissioner Lear.
Just the only thing I'd ask is just to tidy up the area would be really appreciated.
Absolutely. We'll get the site graded out and the fence straightened up as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Burnsley?
If we could just get a motion for the extension, that would be great. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve
So
the
moved.
2-year extension? I'm sorry.
So moved.
Then do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Lear. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next matter is 219 COA 100 MCD Part A, all buildings fronting on the Monument Circle, Courtney Howell, downtown Indy. Please.
Good evening.
Courtney, I'll swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can we get your name and address, please?
Courtney Howell, 1557 North College Avenue, Unit 6, Indianapolis 46202.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. It's great to be back among you all. The last time that we presented and we were here, we weren't physically here, but was June of 2020. So clearly a lot has transpired since then. And I just want to give you a few highlights of what we've been working on as it relates to shining a light over the last couple years. At the time that we presented, we were on the heels of some dramatic happenings on Monument Circle, and it was really, really important that we had that technology to help our public safety officers and IMPD to light up that area specifically in the evenings, and that we were able to tie into that sound system to make safety announcements to the crowds, and obviously to utilize the camera for IMPD to obtain footage, and that IMPD tie-in with us is always something that they call us, and they utilize that technology to help solve cases. So I just wanted to highlight that the public safety piece of this has been of utmost importance the last couple of years, and something that wasn't there before we installed this technology. The community impact that this has had since the launch in 2019 is pretty great. We've played the signature salute, which you all approved from the beginning, which is a nightly salute to our veterans. We play that 365 days a year, 3 times a night. So that's been seen 1,500 or so times since we've been here. We've also done specific military and patriotic activations for VJ Day, VE Day, Veterans Day, and then also the 20th anniversary of 9/11. We've been able to have tributes to honor community leaders that have passed away, including IMPD Officer Breanne Leith, former IDI President Tamara Zahn, and Bobby Slick Leonard. We've been able to show images that honor Martin Luther King Day Jr. Day, Hispanic Heritage Month, and other holidays including Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. We've also been able to utilize it during large civic events that have taken place over the last few years, such as the Indy 500, Big Ten football, and basketball, the NCAA March Madness that was here in total, and also the most recent college football national playoff. We've also been able to use the lighting for the facades of the buildings to highlight awareness for mental health, recovery for substance abuse, and the technology overall has been used over 50 times to organizations, nonprofit mostly, to activate this space. So we're really proud of everything we've been able to do and the impact that it's had on the community and those specific communities, and we just are excited to expand on that as the next few years go by. I will draw your attention to the handout, hopefully that y'all were given, that just kind of our approach is that we went through the COA line by line and just kind of talked about the compliance in each one, and there were 9 different stipulations that we agree that we are in agreement with or compliant with. The only one that's outstanding that requires a little bit of discussion and a little bit of explanation is the pods and that appearance. So to talk about that, Bob Schultz will come up to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Yes, we'll do that.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can we get your name and address, please?
Bob Schultz. I'm the interim president of downtown Indy. My address is 7232 Kingman Circle in Indianapolis, 46256.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to come back to you. As Courtney's indicated, there is one element that we are still working through as far as compliance, and that is of concern to the Commission, is the appearance of what we call the pods. So just to remind and also inform our new commissioners that to place the millions of dollars of lighting that was installed around the circle, instead of kind of creating a stadium atmosphere where there's lights every 10 to 15 feet around the entire circle, we worked with this commission to recommend the placement of lighting pods in 4 placements around the tops of key buildings to help use that technology that Courtney referenced. The placement of these pods, as you can see, is on top of the Columbia Club. It's on top of what is known as the Anthem, former Anthem building, on top of the Emmis building, and finally on the top of the AES Indiana building. And from these pods, they're the frameworks and the racks that hold the fixtures that shine the light down either onto the monument or to the surrounding facades of Monument Circle to help illuminate it. We were asked to come back and present to you how we've addressed their particular appearance, that once they were up, some of the commissioners felt that they were a little bit too noticeable and because of their brightness. And we were asked to come back and paint those pods by December of 2020. And unfortunately, due to COVID and some short staffing with our partners who erected these and put them in place, and labor shortages and supply chain issues, we weren't able to address that till we were preparing for this continuation or renewal of the COA. As you can see in the pictures, the first picture there shows what is existing with the framing and the racks as originally installed, and they are intended to match the fixtures and blend in as best as possible with the daytime sky. The fixtures themselves and the racks are not seen until those actual lights are illuminated at nighttime, clearly, but during the daytime, the placement and their appearance is seen in that first picture. What we've attempted to do is paint them a darker color, a dark gray, some would call it black, to address those fixtures in hopes that they blend in a little bit more. That remains to be seen. We feel it doesn't dramatically change the appearance, and it is a very expensive proposition, about $60,000. We did one, but to do the other three would be an additional $45,000 to get it to the point where they are a darker color. And so we wanted to present that to you and answer your questions in our attempt to address the appearance for some of those who feel that it doesn't necessarily blend in to the daytime sky or skyline around the monument. We've tried to include it next to a flagpole or to a satellite aerial so you can see context with other improvements or additions to those skyline roofs surrounding the circle. So we're here just to answer your questions and let you know we've done our what we believe is our best case within the context of the funding that's been presented to us by Lilly Endowment to try to address the concerns of some of the commissioners who felt that those pods would perhaps look better if painted darker. I will share one additional thought, is that the darker those frames and racks are, the more they do show dirt and the more they do show bird droppings as well as dust and pollen, and they just over time they just start to look dirty. White does seem to fade some of that dirt, and of course no one's up at a ladder at the level that we're seeing it presented to you, so we're trying to show you a street level view in that first picture to best see how it could be noticeable or not. So that's, I have more remarks, but probably more in the context of questions if you have them for us in our effort to address this last piece of compliance.
Thank you, sir. Any comments from the public in favor? Any comments from the public in opposition? Staff comments, please.
I don't really have any additional comments. The COA was granted in 2019. There was an extension granted in 2020, and then this is for another extension to 2024 when they would need to reapply to keep them because that is when the funding, the Lilly Endowment funding, runs out. And then in terms of compliance and the painting of the frames, Commission can discuss that issue and when they would anticipate compliance to be fulfilled. I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the commissioners on compliance? Commissioner Williams, please.
Yes, Bob, you mentioned that you painted one. Can you tell us which one so we can go look at it?
Thank you. It's the one on the Columbia Club. Okay. It's the one that is photographed there. It's barely noticeable, but you see the frame and the rack are black now as opposed to white. And it's, we cannot paint the fixtures. Those are delivered as, you know, you can't paint a lighting fixture. We can replace a lighting fixture, but that would, now we were talking closer to $500,000 in the eventual replacement of those lights themselves to a darker color. You have to reorder those.
But it doesn't appear fully painted. On this picture here that we have, the base and some of the structure.
So thank you. Courtney reminded me that what was painted in preparation for this meeting was what is visible from the street.
I see.
So at this, you're right, at the height of a building level, that they didn't go forward and paint the base of those. They did this gratis, by the way, so
Yeah.
our friends with Dodd Technology.
Yeah, and so this was just done recently.
Yes, ma'am.
So it would sort of behoove us to all take a walk on the circle sometime and see what we think before they expend any other dollars. if we feel it needs to be done on all of them or not. So that's what I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, and then just get back to them.
Any other comments, commissioners? I think under the circumstances, by consent, we can continue this to the next meeting, which would be what, the July 6th meeting, to give the commissioners an opportunity to go, now that we've had Mr. Schultz explain, because I was confused by that as well, that I now understand it, and I think it would behoove us to do that. No actions required if you're found to be compliant, but I think the question is still up in the air, so I think by consent we'll move it to continue it to the next meeting of July 6th, so we can go take a look-see. Any concerns, Mr. Schultz, on that?
Would we readdress in a similar format on
Yes.
July 6th?
We'll be back on July
Okay.
6th to
All right.
hear what the commissioners have to say.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you very much.
With consent, we'll do that. Thank you, sir, for your time. The next matter is 2020 COA 222 Woodruff Place, 872 Woodruff Place East Drive, David Roush. Please step, you're not David Roush.
I'm not David Roush. I'm Tony Grimes, here representing David Roush Studio.
Tony, let me go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can you give us your name and address, please?
Tony Grimes at 4528 North College Avenue, 46205.
All right, thank you.
Please proceed.
We are just here today to request a one-year extension of the COA. This is a residential project and construction has just taken longer than expected, so we'd like to renew for one more year.
Thank you. Anybody from the public on this? Chair hears none. Staff comments, please.
There we go. Helps if I turn the button the right way. So staff is in support of the request. This is a rather large project that was approved in July of 2020. There is an addition being added to the house, as well as a carriage house and in-ground pool. So there's a lot of work being done. It has progressed over the last year and a half. And so again, the work is actively taking place, but as the applicant said, they're going to need some more time due to this large size of the project. And so again, we're just asking the commission for a one-year extension. I can answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Chair hears none. Last word, applicant. Anything you want to add?
Not really.
Okay.
We're good to go.
All right. Do I have a motion for the extension of 1 year to be approved on the COA?
So moved.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Annie?
Commissioner Lear, thank you. Second? Commissioner Bittens?
Corley. Oh, I'm sorry.
Both at the same time? Okay. Motion and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Good luck on your project.
Thank you.
Who did we decide seconded on that? Was that Bernice?
I think Michael.
Oh, Michael. Okay, sorry about that.
We have no new business in terms of the public hearing. The next item is continued applications. Meg, you want to take us through those?
Sure, we have 2022 COA 108 Cottage Home, 918 Stillwell Street, applicants Ian McCullough, and 2022 COA 112 Irvington, addresses 5270 East Washington Street, and the applicant Sylvia Garcia, and both are requests to continue to the July 6th hearing.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is expedited cases. At the last hearing, an expedited case,
Kevin.
2020.
Kevin?
Yes, sir.
Pardon me. We do need to vote on those continuances.
Okay. Do I have a motion on the continuances offered by Meg?
So moved. This is Bernice.
Bernice Corley. A second, please. Commissioner Williams. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Continuances are granted. Thank you, Mr. Steinmetz. The expedited cases, last month, an expedited case, was one of the commissioners asked that it be heard, which is now under Roman numeral 10 on the agenda, 2022 COA 100 Fountain Square, address 1043 Virginia Avenue, was put on the agenda to be heard. The commissioner who raised the concern is not here tonight. With consent, we can move that to the expedited calendar. Is there consent? The chair sees consent, so we can.
Chairman Murray?
Yes, sir.
If I could
Yes,
just
ma'am.
provide a little bit of clarification here.
Okay.
So under the expedited cases, we have under work started without approval, 1043 Virginia Avenue. And Commissioner Kinley had asked for that to be pulled to the regular agenda. And I had suggested if there's consent with the commissioners to pull that back to the expedited case, we could read that off this evening. If not, we could leave it on the agenda where it's at.
Okay. So I thought we just had consent to move it to the expedited agenda.
I think you're correct.
Okay, okay. So is there a motion on that one?
We don't need a motion on that, but I can go ahead and read the other
Okay.
expedited cases.
Okay.
2022 COA 119, Irvington. Address is 52 North Ritter Avenue, and the applicant is Tracy Patterson. The request is to demolish a historic detached garage modified without approval in 2018 and construct a new one-story detached two-car garage.
Hi, my name is Tracy Patterson, and I am here on behalf of my mother,
Ma'am.
Ann Hall.
I think these are done collectively, so.
Oh, okay.
Right, you're on the expedited list, so there isn't testimony required this evening.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. 2022 COA 171 Irvington and 2022 VHP 001. Address is 5904 East New York Street, and the applicant is Elliot Hostetter. The request is for a variance to development standards to permit less floor area than required for a one-story dwelling and for less lot width and less lot area than is required for a detached single-family dwelling in a D5 zoning district. 2022 COA 175 Heron Morton Place. Address is 1912 North Talbot Street. Applicant is Amanda Spicer, and the request is to enlarge the existing rear dormer and alter rear second-story window openings. And then the last case is 2022 COA 100 Fountain Square. Address is 1043 Virginia Avenue, and the applicant is Lori Ronhell for La Margarita. And the request is to modify the railings around the patio space and install a 6-foot separation wall in the patio area and install a planter box along the west side of the patio.
And for the record, on the preliminary agenda had listed on the expedited an additional case, 2022 COA 148 CAMA 545 Massachusetts Avenue, and that has been moved to the hearing portion because of the request from a member of the public, correct?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I have a motion to approve the expedited cases, please?
So moved.
Commissioner Lear, second, please. Thank you, Mike. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The expedited cases are approved. Thank you.
Chairman Murray, if we could also get a motion on the variance request.
Yes. That would be the expedited on 2022 VHP 001 for 5904 East New York Street. Is there such a motion, please?
So moved for variance request.
Thank you, Commissioner Lear. Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Corley, thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The variance is granted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roman numeral 7, applications to be heard continued. looks like they're combined 2022 COA 064 Old North Side and 2022 COA 065 Old North Side. Those being 1434 North Delaware Street and 1320 North Delaware Street. Patricia Jacobs, applicant. Ms. Finch.
I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can we get your name and address, please?
My name is Brian Kahn with Merchants Affordable Housing, 410 Monon Boulevard, Carmel, Indiana, 46032.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Finch. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you. So I'm with Merchants Affordable Housing, and we are the owners of the Marley and the Harrison, the two subject properties. And we were here at the last hearing talking about replacement of the windows. And so I just want to remind you that this scope of work with the windows is part of a larger scope of work to renovate the whole buildings. And we're spending approximately $8 million in the renovation, including the windows. And again, just to refresh your memory, the existing windows are the older original metal frame single pane glass windows. And so we're proposing to replace them because they're older and many of them are not functioning. And so we're proposing the Quaker aluminum frame windows, which, if you remember, you've approved those for other buildings like the Barbie, the Jordan, the Wyndham, the Windsor, some other properties in Old North Side. So you should be familiar with that product, and we believe it represents the historic windows accurately. Since we last met, we had time with staff and talked about ways to better make the windows represent the current windows on the front facade. And so Shelby recommended that we use the fixed transoms on the building fronts and then use the simulated transoms on the sides and the rear. So we've agreed to do that to make it appear more historically appropriate. And so we agree with staff's recommendation for the use of those windows as I've described, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, sir. Any comments from the public in support? Any objection? Any remonstrators? The public chair hears none. Staff comments, please.
So as the applicant mentioned, we did come to what we believe to be a good middle ground that staff believes to be appropriate. So staff is in support of the all aluminum replacement product for the steel windows. Both the true transom unit that you see and the simulated transom units are dimensionally very close to the original windows in the building. However, since some of the original windows do have those true transoms, we believe that for those units, those are the most appropriate replacements. As well as we did have some concerns about some of the glass pane changes that were needed in these new windows because of limitations in the manufacturing, as well as for the safety egress that was needed for the building. And maintaining those glass proportions in the historic windows is recommended both by the Old North Side Plan and by the National Park Service. However, the Park Service does say that some flexibility may be given to replacement windows on less significant facades. And so we have recommended approval for the simulated transom units as shown in your documentation for the sides and the rear. This will still permit one safety egress window for each apartment unit. And then on the front facades for each building, approval of the true transom units for the windows that currently have transoms that will match those configurations and the glass proportions as closely as possible. These are the most visible facades, and they have the majority of them are these units that would be affected by the lack of the true transom. And so we believe providing that closest match possible on the front facade will help to reduce any negative impact that are for these changes for the safety egress and the limitations in that manufacturing. And we did include a sign-off stipulation for the final drawings to be reviewed by staff to reflect these changes and any other concerns that the commission had this evening. And other than that, I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Questions or comments from the commission, please? Chair hears none. Closing last word, sir? No? Meg, would you be kind enough to provide the staff recommendation?
One moment, please. Thank you. So since there's two cases, I'm going to read the first one and have you vote on that one, and then I'll read the second case and have you vote on that next, okay?
Thank you.
For 2022 COA 064 Old North Side, staff recommends to approve a certificate of appropriateness to replace all steel sash windows with new aluminum windows per submitted documentation and subject to the 6 stipulations in one note in the staff's written report.
Do I have a motion in support of the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Commissioner Lear, second by Commissioner Williams. Thank you. All in favor of the motion to approve, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion's approved. Ms. Bernsley?
For COA 2022 COA 065 Old North Side, staff recommends to approve a certificate of appropriateness to replace all steel sash windows and jalousie windows with new aluminum windows per submitted documentation and subject to the 6 stipulations and one note in the staff's written report.
Do I have a motion in support of the staff recommendation, please? Commissioner Williams. Second, please. Second. Commissioner Lear. Thank you. All in favor of the motion to approve, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion's approved. Thank you, sir. Good luck with your project. Roman numeral 8, applications to be heard new, 2022 COA 343 CMA at 545 Massachusetts Avenue, Jacob Gillette. Ms. Finch, would you please swear in the witness?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can we get your name and address, please?
Yeah, hi. My name is Jacob Gillette. I'm with Gillette General Contractors. My address is 2515 Bloyd Avenue, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46218.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Please proceed.
All right. Well, this is my first time doing this, so I apologize if this is rather kind of clunky here. But basically, I'm here to represent the Goodfellas Pizzeria folks, and what they're wanting to do is enclose their existing outdoor patio which would match the current facade of the building. And the purpose is to increase the indoor dining and to allow the indoor dining to be year-round. They lose a lot of seats or a lot of, it's so small in there now that this would allow additional seating year-round. So.
Thank you, sir. Anyone from the public in support of the application? Any remonstrators? Chair hears none. Staff comments, please.
Yeah, this was pulled from the expedited because staff felt there needed to be a discussion. There was a letter that you got in your day of packet from from Chatham Arch, Massachusetts Avenue. I believe it's the design committee or cultural committee. And what they'd asked for is to have that some of the storefronts are on this building are slightly recessed, about 1.5 feet roughly. And they had suggested that in order to provide a little bit of additional relief on the building, which is pretty flat, to recess that storefront instead of having it flush. The storefront, most of the recesses are kind of all the way up, but there is some randomization in the storefront facades. And staff would like the commission to weigh in, since there was a recommendation from the Chatham Arch group about making a slight modification. Otherwise, staff is in support of the application. It really doesn't change the overall feel of the building, that kind of recessed patio already, it kind of feels very much the same as the rest of the building. It doesn't have any kind of special details or anything like that to it other than that little projecting fence. I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Jers. Questions from the commissioners, comments, please? Commissioner Williams?
Yes, I just read this letter a few minutes ago, and I thought that the request from the Mass Ave Cultural District was a reasonable one, and so I was really going to ask the applicant if it was okay to make that slight adjustment of a 1.5 foot setback.
Yeah, we met with, the Mass Ave Cultural Arts District and the Mass Ave Merchants Association, and it was me and the two owners of Goodfellas, and they agreed. They were like, that's fine, we'll do whatever. And actually, I had the architect go ahead and draw up the drawings. I know it extended to, a month, and I don't want to do that, but I did bring 5 copies of the drawings that we would build from if that would be acceptable. I don't want to delay anything, but it sounds like I'm going to get pushback maybe anyway. So, but I had the architect draw the drawings up to include the 18-inch offset, which would match their current entry point. So anyway.
Well, that's great collaboration, and I don't see any reason to delay this.
No.
I think the staff can work through it, and so.
Further comments from the commission? No? Ms. Bernsley? Staff recommendation, given that commitment on behalf of the applicant, please.
Sure, and just as a reminder, stipulation number 1 does cover review of final construction drawings with staff, so that's already included. Staff recommends to approve a certificate of appropriateness to enclose the patio space and alter openings on a non-historic building per the submitted documentation and subject to these 3 stipulations and 1 note in the staff's written report.
Thank you, Ms. Bernsley. Do I have a motion to support the staff recommendation, please? Commissioner Williams, do I have a second? Commissioner Lear. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion's approved. You have your COA. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful.
Appreciate your time.
Do I need to, does anybody want these, or this would be the copies, or just something else that how do I handle that?
Emily will reach out to you probably tomorrow, and you can work with her on scheduling a pre-construction meeting, okay?
Perfect.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further business to be brought before the commission this evening? The chair hears none. We are adjourned. Thank you.